Do you say, I work in Google, I work at Google, I work for Google, or I work as a software engineer? Well, one of these is wrong, two are often confused, and one depends on what you actually mean. So, if you ever introduce yourself in English at work, in meetings, in interviews, or even just in small talk, this is something you really want to get right. By the end of this video, you will know exactly when to use in, at, for, and as. Welcome back to our channel where learning English with us at the World Language School is easy, fun, and free. So, a quick test before we start. Which one sounds correct? I work in Google, I work at Google, or I work for Google. Now keep that in your head and we'll come back to that in a second. So we use work in for field or department. You work for an employer, and work at is for a company or a place, and work as is for the job itself, so for your role or your job title. Let's look at them one by one with some really simple examples. And let's start with work in. We use work in when we talk about the area or type of work you're in. For example, I work in finance, or I work in education, or I work in healthcare. We're not talking about a company, we're talking about a sector. We can also use work in for a department inside a company. For example, I work in the marketing department, or I work in sales, or I work in the IT department at my company. We also use work in for places and areas, like I work in an office, or I work in Milan, or I work in England. So think, in is used for the field, the area, or the department in a specific place or location. Even advanced students sometimes get this wrong, because when they want to talk about a company name, they still use in. So don't worry if you get this mixed up, you're still in great company. Now let's look at the two prepositions people mix up all the time. But before we carry on, if you enjoy practical videos like this, please subscribe for more. So, going back to work at or work for, and here is the first important thing. When you mention a company name, both are often possible. For example, I work at Google, or I work for Google. Both of these are correct. So what's the difference? Well, work for focuses more on the idea of who employs you. So it answers the question, who do you work for? For example, I work for a small startup, or I work for Apple, or I work for the CEO directly. So if you want to emphasize the employer, for is the best choice. Work at, on the other hand, sounds a little bit more connected to the place. It can be used for a company, yes, but also very naturally for a physical location. For example, I work at the local hospital, or I work at a school near the city center, or I work at a coffee shop in town. So, if you're thinking of the workplace as a location, at is the right choice. Here are some other really useful examples. I work at a shop, on Saturdays, or I work for Apple. See the difference? At the shop is the place, for Apple is the employer. So that's the key. So, can you say, I work at Google? Yes, you can say that. Can you say, I work for Google? Yes, you can say that. Can you say, I work in Google? Usually not, unless you're talking about a department or an area inside the company. And can you say, I work as a manager at Google? Absolutely, because now you're talking about both your role and your company. And now the easiest one, work as. We use work as when we say what our job is. In other words, our role or job title. For example, I work as a dentist, or I work as a project manager, or I work as a freelance translator, or I work as a teacher. So this is nice and simple. As is for your job title. So not for the company, not for the place, not for the department, your actual role. And in real life, we often combine all these prepositions. For example, I work as a software engineer at Google. Okay, now let's put everything together with one example. Let's imagine a woman called Sarah. Sarah could say, I work in healthcare. I work for a private clinic at their main branch, and I work as a cardiologist. Now look at what each preposition tells us. In healthcare is her field. For a private clinic is her employer. At the main branch is the location. As a cardiologist is her role. That's why all these little words matter. They give a different piece of information. Now let's do a quick final test. Which one is best? I work banking. The answer is I work in banking. What about I work Microsoft? Now this one can be at Microsoft or for Microsoft. They are both correct. I work an accountant. The answer is as. I work as an accountant. Now, if you got those right, amazing. If not, no worries. You now know the system. So one last test for you. Write a sentence in the comments about your dream job using in, at, for, or as, and we'll check it for you. If you have any questions about English for work or business, drop it in the comments below. And so that's it. 4 little prepositions, 4 different uses. Once this is clear in your head, talking about your job becomes much easier. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe for more practical English lessons. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.